Progress becomes real when you make it part of your daily life, not something you chase only when you feel inspired. Many people want to improve, but they feel stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure where to begin. This audiobook is here to help you change that. It guides you through practical steps that fit into your everyday routine, even on the days when you feel tired, discouraged, or distracted. You will learn how to build habits that support your goals, choose actions that make sense, and stay steady when life becomes stressful. You will see how small changes can shape your mindset, strengthen your discipline, and help you move forward with more clarity and confidence. This journey is not about perfection or forcing yourself to do everything at once. It is about understanding yourself, using your time wisely, and learning how to stay focused on what matters. As you listen, you will discover how to adjust your plans when they no longer work, how to protect your energy, and how to stay committed even during difficult moments. You will notice changes in the way you think, the way you act, and the way you show up for yourself. You will feel more in control of your days because you will know how to direct your effort instead of letting the world pull you in every direction. If you have ever felt like you could do more but did not know how to start, if you have ever struggled to stay consistent, if you want to feel proud of your daily progress instead of ending each day frustrated, this audiobook will give you the tools you need. Stay with it until the end, because every chapter gives you something you can use immediately. You are about to gain the clarity, strength, and confidence to move your life forward, one real step at a time. Chapter 1. Build one meaningful habit that strengthens your daily progress. Progress becomes real when a person chooses one habit that can change the direction of their days, because one habit can influence how they think, act, to respond to life. Many people try to change everything at once and end up changing nothing at all. They overwhelm themselves with ideas, plans, and expectations, and eventually fall back into old patterns because the weight becomes too heavy. Daily progress is not about doing more every day. It is about doing the right things with intention and repeating them until they become part of who you are. A single meaningful habit has the strength to shape your future because it anchors your actions in clarity and purpose. When you choose one habit that carries real value, you give your mind something steady to work with. You give your day a structure that supports your growth. You train your discipline without draining your energy. You stop chasing temporary changes and start building a long-lasting foundation inside yourself. This is how real improvement begins. It starts small. It starts quietly. It starts with one solid behavior that moves you in a direction that matters to you. This habit does not need to be dramatic or impressive. It only needs to be meaningful. It should support the person you want to become and the life you want to build. People often overlook small habits because they believe big results require big actions. But the truth is that lives transform through consistent behaviors, repeated day after day. When you choose one habit that strengthens your daily progress, you choose the first brick in the structure of your personal growth. The first step is understanding why choosing a single habit matters. When you focus on too many changes at once, your attention becomes divided. You use your willpower in every direction and soon feel drained before meaningful progress begins. The human mind works better when it has something simple to follow, something clear, something stable. A consistent behavior removes confusion. It removes mental noise. It removes the endless cycle of starting and stopping. One strong habit gives you a reliable point of focus every day, and that stability becomes progress in motion. The next step is choosing a habit that actually supports your growth. Many people choose habits only because they sound impressive or because someone else is doing them. A meaningful habit should come from your own needs. It should support your physical, mental, or emotional strength. It should help you become more organized, more disciplined, more stable, or more intentional. It should help you build a better relationship with yourself and your time. A meaningful habit can be something as simple as waking up at a consistent hour, spending 10 minutes reviewing your goals, stretching for a few minutes, reading a few pages, writing your thoughts, organizing your day, or doing one important task without delay. The habit only needs to matter to your progress. It does not need to impress anyone else. Once you choose this habit, you must attach a clear purpose to it. Purpose strengthens discipline. Without purpose, habits feel like chores. With purpose, habits become personal commitments. For example, if you choose to read 10 minutes every morning, the purpose may be improving your mind, building your focus, or learning something useful for your future. If you choose to organize your room for 5 minutes, the purpose may be gaining clarity, creating mental calm, or starting your day with order. When your habit has meaning, your mind understands why it matters, and you become more willing to protect it, even on difficult days. The greatest change comes when the habit becomes non-negotiable. Non-negotiable behaviors do not depend on motivation. They do not depend on how you feel when you wake up. They do not depend on how busy or stressed you are. Non-negotiable habits become rules you follow because they reflect the person you aim to be. This mindset removes excuses and emotional resistance. It gives you a sense of self-control that becomes stronger each time you follow through. When you make your habit non-negotiable, you build trust in yourself. You begin to believe in your own ability to stay consistent. That belief becomes a powerful source of personal strength. To build this habit effectively, you must start small enough that you cannot avoid doing it. If the habit is too large, it becomes intimidating. The mind resists anything that feels heavy or complicated. But when you choose a habit that takes little time or effort, your mind feels less pressure. It becomes easier to do it every day, and consistency becomes natural. A small habit practiced daily is more powerful than a large habit practiced occasionally. Small habits fit into your life without disruption and slowly reshape your behavior. Over time, the small habit grows into something more meaningful because you gain the discipline to expand it naturally. The next challenge arrives when the excitement fades. Every new habit feels easier in the beginning because you feel motivated and hopeful. But motivation does not last. It rises and falls. It changes with your emotions, environment, and energy. When motivation drops, many people quit because they rely on it as their main driver. To build a meaningful habit that strengthens your daily progress, you must act even when you no longer feel excited. This is the moment discipline begins. This is the moment growth begins. When you keep going without emotional support, you prove to yourself that you can lead your actions instead of being led by your feelings. The most important part of building a habit is repetition. Repetition changes the pathways of your mind. It trains your brain to perform the behavior automatically. The more you repeat something, the less effort it requires. Eventually, the habit becomes part of your identity. You no longer force yourself to do it. You simply do it because it feels natural. Repetition removes resistance and replaces it with familiarity. This is why consistency is more important than intensity. Doing a small habit every day is more transformative than doing a big habit once in a while. You must also remove barriers that make your habit harder to follow. If your environment is working against you, progress becomes harder. Simplifying your surroundings helps your mind follow through with less effort. If your habit is reading, prepare the book in advance. If your habit is exercise, set your clothes where you can see them. If your habit is writing, keep your notebook on your desk. When everything is ready, your mind faces less friction. Your environment becomes your support system and not your enemy. There will be days when you do not feel like doing anything. Days when you feel tired, overwhelmed, or stressed. These days are the real test of your commitment. The key is to complete at least the smallest version of your habit. Even if you do not have full energy or full focus, you can still do something. You can still show up. Doing a small version keeps the chain unbroken. It protects your discipline. It keeps your identity intact. It proves that you can stay loyal to your growth even in difficult conditions. This mindset becomes one of your strongest tools. Building a meaningful habit requires patience. You cannot expect immediate transformation. You cannot expect your life to change overnight. Progress is subtle in the beginning. It feels slow, it feels quiet, but something powerful develops beneath the surface. Each day you follow your habit, you strengthen your self-control, you strengthen your focus, you strengthen your discipline, you become more reliable to yourself. This internal transformation is far more valuable than fast results. Fast results fade, strong character stays. Over time, your single habit begins to influence other areas of your life. When you become consistent in one behavior, you start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. This new self-view affects how you handle other responsibilities. You become more confident in your ability to change. You begin to set higher standards for yourself. You stop tolerating the habits that keep you stuck. One strong habit sparks a shift in your identity, and from that shift, new habits begin to grow naturally. Real-world application is simple. Choose one habit you can complete daily. Make it small enough to fit into your life without stress. Attach a purpose to it. Make it non-negotiable. Remove barriers that make it harder. Repeat it every day. Track your progress to see the pattern forming, and allow the process to develop without rushing yourself. This approach is grounded, clear, and sustainable. Imagine choosing a habit like writing your goals for 5 minutes each morning. At first, it feels simple, but after a few weeks, you begin to think more clearly about your direction. You begin to act with more intention. You waste less time. You build a stronger sense of purpose. Or imagine the habit is organizing your workspace for 2 minutes a day. Over time, your environment becomes more calm. Your mind becomes more present. You feel less overwhelmed because you maintain order. These small habits lead to big internal changes. Many people fail to build habits because they expect perfection. They believe missing a day means starting over. They believe one mistake cancels their progress. But this mindset creates pressure and fear. Discipline is not about perfection, it is about continuity. If you miss a day, you return the next day. You keep the chain moving. You do not judge yourself. You do not quit because of one slip. You learn and you keep going. This approach builds emotional strength and reduces the fear of failure. There is also a deeper layer to building a meaningful habit. It teaches you mastery over your impulses. When you choose a habit, you choose control over your reactions, distractions, and temptations. You practice self-leadership. You stop being pulled by every emotion and circumstance. You develop inner steadiness. This steadiness influences every part of your life. Your mood becomes more stable. Your decisions become more thoughtful. Your actions become more aligned with your values. Habits shape identity, and identity shapes destiny. When you choose a strong habit and repeat it daily, you create a new story about who you are. You stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles with consistency. You begin to see yourself as someone who grows every day, someone who can handle challenges, someone who honors their commitments. This internal shift is priceless because your identity influences your long-term behavior more than motivation ever will. The habit becomes a daily promise to yourself. Each time you keep it, you strengthen that promise. You show yourself that you are capable of improvement, even when life is not easy. You prove that progress is possible every single day, and not only on the days when everything feels comfortable. This is how discipline evolves into confidence. Confidence evolves into growth. Growth evolves into a stronger version of you. There is something powerful about ending each day knowing you kept at least one promise to yourself. Even if the day was stressful or unproductive or messy, your habit becomes evidence that you did not abandon your personal growth. It becomes your anchor. It becomes your reminder that you are still moving forward. This feeling shapes your emotional resilience. It gives you a sense of control in a world where so many things are uncertain. Every meaningful change begins with one simple action that you commit to repeating. When you choose that action carefully and practice it daily, you are no longer hoping for a better life. You are building one. You are not waiting for motivation. You are creating discipline. You are not wishing for progress. You are making it through your choices. This is the foundation of daily improvement. You deserve to become someone who moves forward every day. You deserve a life that reflects your effort. You deserve a mind that trusts itself. You deserve the peace that comes from discipline. One meaningful habit is the starting point. It is the first step toward a stronger identity. It is the simple daily action that rewrites the direction of your life. This chapter is not asking you to change your whole world today. It is asking you to choose one behavior that you can commit to, one behavior that supports your growth, one behavior that improves your focus, discipline, or clarity, one behavior that you can practice every day without excuses, one behavior that becomes your daily proof of progress. Once you master one habit, you can add another, then another, but only when you are ready. Do not rush, do not force. Build slowly with respect for your own pace. Growth becomes real when it is done with patience and intention. You cannot build a strong mind by overwhelming yourself. You build a strong mind by showing up every day, even in small ways. That is the true meaning of daily progress. Your life becomes a reflection of the habits you choose and repeat. When you choose habits that support your strength, your resilience, and your discipline, you shape a future that reflects those choices. When you repeat them daily, you create momentum. When you stay patient, you allow the process to work. When you stay committed, you transform yourself from the inside out. Choose one meaningful habit today and protect it. Let it become part of your identity. Let it guide your mornings or evenings. Let it strengthen your discipline. Let it remind you that progress is always possible. This habit is not small. It is the beginning of your transformation. It is the first step in becoming someone who makes progress every single day, no matter what. Chapter 2. Choose clear goals that direct your actions every day. Clear goals give structure to your days because they act as a steady guide that keeps your actions aligned with what truly matters. When you wake up without a clear direction, the day easily slips away through distractions, small tasks, and reactions to whatever comes your way. But when you begin the day with a defined purpose, your choices become sharper, your time feels more valuable, and your energy moves towards something meaningful instead of spreading everywhere with no result. A clear goal removes confusion and helps you protect the hours you often lose without noticing. It gives you a sense of control over your time and allows you to measure whether you are actually moving forward or simply staying busy. Choosing clear goals begins with understanding what you want your life to move toward. Many people avoid this step because they fear choosing the wrong goal or worry they will not follow through. This uncertainty keeps them in a cycle of hesitation, waiting for the perfect moment or perfect clarity. But clarity grows only when you decide and take action. A goal becomes clear not by thinking about it endlessly, but by committing to something specific and giving it your full attention. You do not need to know every detail of the future. You only need to know the direction that feels meaningful and aligned with who you wish to become. A strong goal is simple, direct, and easy to understand. It should not require complicated explanations or long descriptions. If you cannot express your goal clearly, you will struggle to act on it consistently. A clear goal sounds like improving your physical strength, deepening your knowledge in an area that matters to you, stabilizing your finances, strengthening your emotional balance, building a skill, or improving a relationship with consistent effort. Simplicity brings focus. Focus brings action. Action brings results. Once the goal is chosen, the next step is to define why it matters to you personally. When you connect a goal to a genuine reason, it becomes stronger than a moment of motivation. It becomes a commitment you can return to when the day becomes difficult or when your energy is low. A strong reason gives your goal depth. It turns the goal into something more than a line written on a page. It becomes a part of your identity and gives meaning to the effort required to reach it. Clear goals also help you filter what deserves your attention and what does not. When you know your direction, you start seeing which tasks, habits, and behaviors support your progress and which ones waste your time. Every day becomes a chance to choose actions that align with the path you set. Without this direction, the mind easily chooses comfort, distraction, or whatever feels easiest in the moment. But clarity helps you say no to unnecessary activities because you understand they take you away from what you want to achieve. Goals must be practical if they are going to guide your daily actions. A practical goal is one you can work on every day in some form. It does not depend on ideal circumstances or perfect timing. It is something you can touch consistently, even if the progress is small. This approach builds momentum, and momentum creates confidence. When a goal feels unreachable or too far away, you disconnect from it. But when a goal is structured in a way that allows you to work on it daily, it stays alive in your mind and becomes a natural part of your routine. To make a clear goal practical, break it into daily actions you can control. You cannot control every external factor, but you can control your effort today. You can control what you choose to focus on. You can control how you use your time. Daily actions give shape to the goal and allow you to measure progress even in small ways. For example, if your goal is to improve your health, your daily action might be a short workout or a steady meal choice. If your goal is to learn something new, your daily action might be reading or practicing a specific skill. When the goal translates into clear daily action, the path becomes visible. A clear goal should challenge you without overwhelming you. It should push you forward while staying within a range that you believe you can reach. If a goal feels impossible, your mind will reject it. But if a goal stretches you just enough, it strengthens your confidence and discipline. It gives you a reason to rise above excuses and step into responsibility. Growth happens in the space between comfort and overwhelm. A well-chosen goal places you exactly in that space. Choosing clear goals also requires honesty. You must be honest about what you truly want, not what others expect or admire. Many people choose goals based on pressure or comparison, and these goals lack emotional connection. They eventually fade because they were never chosen from within. A real goal comes from a deeper place. It aligns with your values, your identity, and the life you want to build. Honesty keeps you aligned with your own path rather than chasing something that belongs to someone else. When you hold a clear goal, you shape the emotional tone of your day. Instead of reacting to stress, distractions, and interruptions, you respond with intention. You know what matters, so you protect it. You know what does not matter, so you release it. This clarity brings a sense of calm because you no longer feel lost or directionless. You move with purpose. You choose with purpose. Even when the day becomes challenging, the presence of a clear goal helps you maintain stability. Goals also help you build a stronger relationship with yourself. When you choose a goal and show up for it daily, you start trusting your own promises. Many people carry frustration because they make promises to themselves that they never keep. This weakens self-belief. But a clear goal that you commit to every day rebuilds that trust. Every time you work toward it, you strengthen your confidence. You prove to yourself that you can follow through. This inner trust is one of the greatest forms of power a person can develop. You must also review your goals regularly. A goal is not a rigid rule you must obey no matter what. Life changes, and your understanding of yourself deepens with time. Reviewing your goals helps you stay aligned with reality. Sometimes a goal needs to be adjusted. Sometimes it needs to be expanded. Sometimes it needs to be replaced. This flexibility is not weakness, it is wisdom. It ensures that your goals reflect your growth instead of limiting it. Daily review strengthens awareness. It helps you see where you are improving and where you are avoiding effort. It helps you recognize habits that support your progress and habits that harm it. A clear daily review keeps your goal active in your mind and reinforces your direction. Without review, goals fade. With review, goals stay alive. The strength of a goal also depends on consistent reinforcement. Write it down, repeat it in your mind, speak about it with honesty, let it guide your decisions. The more you engage with your goal, the stronger it becomes. When you keep a goal visible, it influences your behavior naturally. The mind responds to what it sees, repeatedly. Use that to your advantage. Choosing clear goals requires courage. It means you are willing to take responsibility for your direction. It means you are no longer drifting. It means you are choosing a path deliberately. This alone separates you from the patterns that keep many people stuck. Life without direction feels heavy because you are always wondering what you should be doing. Life with direction feels lighter because you know what matters and you act accordingly. A clear goal gives meaning to your effort. It gives purpose to your discipline. It makes your days more intentional and your actions more valuable. It brings structure to your growth and steadiness to your mind. When you choose a clear goal that reflects your values and your desired future, you create a foundation for continuous progress. You no longer rely on motivation to push you. You rely on clarity to guide you. Your life becomes stronger the moment you decide what you want to move toward. Every choice becomes simpler. Every day becomes more purposeful, and every action becomes a step toward something meaningful. Clear goals do not only shape your days, they shape the person you become through those days. And that is the real power of choosing a direction and honoring it with consistent action. Chapter 3. Remove unnecessary distractions that slow your growth journey. Distractions weaken your progress because they pull your attention away from the work that actually matters. They may look small or harmless, but they slowly take control of your time, your energy, and your ability to stay consistent. Many people struggle not because they lack talent or discipline, but because they allow too many unnecessary distractions to interrupt their focus. When the mind becomes scattered, progress becomes slow, and frustration replaces clarity. Removing distractions is not about creating a perfect life. It is about creating a life where your attention serves your growth instead of feeding habits that drain you. Distractions take different forms. Some are external, like constant notifications, noise, or messages that appear throughout the day. Others are internal, like overthinking, worrying about problems you cannot control, or constantly seeking comfort when things feel difficult. External distractions pull you away physically, while internal distractions pull you away mentally. Both have the same effect. They interrupt your ability to give your best effort to the things that shape your future. To remove distractions, the first step is understanding what truly distracts you. Many people assume they already know, but most of the time, distractions operate quietly. You may pick up your phone without thinking, open a new tab when work becomes challenging, start a conversation to avoid discomfort, or fill your schedule with unimportant tasks so you feel occupied while avoiding meaningful work. These small actions become automatic because the mind chooses comfort when it faces resistance. Awareness breaks this pattern. When you observe your daily behavior with honesty, you begin to notice how much time is lost in small interruptions that add up. Once you identify your distractions, you must create an environment that supports your focus. The environment around you influences your choices far more than you realize. If your surroundings are filled with temptations, your mind will naturally gravitate toward them. Removing unnecessary objects, organizing your space, and placing tools you need in clear reach can shift the direction of your attention. A clean environment encourages a clean mind. When your physical space supports your goals, distractions lose power because they no longer dominate your attention. Another important part of removing distractions is learning to manage your digital habits. Technology is useful but can easily take over your life if you are not careful. Scrolling through social media, checking messages repeatedly, or watching random videos out of boredom can break your concentration. These habits may give temporary stimulation, but they reduce your ability to stay focused for long periods. Limiting screen time during important tasks, turning off unnecessary notifications, or placing your phone away from your workspace can help you regain control of your time. Being intentional about how you use technology turns it into a tool instead of a trap. Internal distractions require a different approach. These distractions come from your thoughts, emotions, and old patterns that make you resist discomfort. When your mind wanders to worries, doubts, or negative assumptions, your attention shifts away from the present moment. The best way to handle internal distractions is by strengthening self-control. When you stay aware of your thoughts without reacting to them, you maintain your focus. This takes practice, but every time you bring your attention back to the task in front of you, you build mental discipline. You train yourself to stay present even when your mind tries to escape through worry or avoidance. Distractions often appear when you are doing something meaningful. The moment you start working toward growth, the mind seeks shortcuts to avoid effort. You might suddenly feel the urge to check something irrelevant, take a break, or shift to a task that feels easier. These impulses are normal, but they are also misleading. They push you away from focus at the exact moment you need it most. When you notice this happening, pause for a moment, take a breath, return to what you were doing. This simple act strengthens your ability to resist unhealthy impulses. Over time, your focus becomes stronger because you train yourself to stay with tasks that require effort. Removing distractions also requires firm boundaries. Many people struggle with productivity because they allow others to interrupt their time. When you let people pull you into conversations, requests, or problems that do not need immediate attention, you break your momentum. Boundaries protect your time and help you stay committed to your priorities. You can still be helpful and kind, but you must also respect your personal goals. Setting limits on when you respond, when you engage, and when you take breaks helps you create a structure that supports your growth. Another strategy for removing distractions is reducing multitasking. When you try to do many things at once, nothing receives your full attention. Your mind has to switch rapidly, and each switch weakens your focus. Multitasking creates the illusion of productivity, but it slows you down in reality. Focusing on one task until it is complete allows you to work with clarity and calm. It makes your actions more intentional and your results more consistent. The mind performs best when it can stay centered on one activity without interruptions. You must also pay attention to emotional distractions. When you feel overwhelmed or stressed, your mind becomes restless. You may lose focus because your thoughts scatter. Emotional distractions can be reduced by taking short breaks to breathe, drink water, or stretch. These small actions reset your mental state and help you return with more clarity. Supporting your physical and emotional well-being strengthens your ability to stay focused. A calm mind is far less vulnerable to distraction. Distractions become weaker when you build routines that support your goals. A routine gives your day structure, reducing the chances of drifting into unproductive habits. When you know what you need to do and when you need to do it, you become less vulnerable to random interruptions. Routines create stability. Stability creates focus. Focus creates progress. You must also recognize that distractions often come from boredom or discomfort. When a task becomes challenging or slow, the mind searches for something easier. Understanding this helps you respond differently. Instead of escaping into distraction, you stay with the task a little longer. You push through discomfort. This builds mental endurance, which becomes one of your greatest tools for growth. Endurance allows you to stay engaged with work, even when it does not feel exciting. Every time you choose to remove a distraction, you strengthen your self-respect. You show yourself that your goals matter more than temporary comfort. You prove that you are capable of honoring your priorities. This builds pride in your own discipline and increases your belief in your ability to grow. Removing distractions is not just about protecting your time, it is about protecting your future. Over time, you begin to notice a shift. Your thoughts feel clearer. Your actions become more deliberate. You waste less time. You finish tasks more quickly. You feel more confident because your days hold more purpose. You realize how much of your life becomes possible when you are not constantly being pulled in every direction. The absence of distraction creates space for strength, clarity, and progress. Removing unnecessary distractions is an ongoing practice, not a one-time change. You must continue observing your habits, adjusting your environment, and refining your focus. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to stay centered on what matters. Growth becomes smoother because your energy moves toward your goals instead of being scattered across countless unimportant activities. Your journey becomes faster not because you rush, but because you remove what slows you down. This is how you reclaim your time, rebuild your focus, and strengthen your commitment to your growth journey. You begin to experience progress that feels steady, intentional, and deeply satisfying. You create a life where your attention serves your purpose, your actions support your direction, and your days reflect the person you are becoming. Chapter 4. Practice daily discipline that keeps you moving forward. Discipline is the force that turns intention into action and action into progress. Without discipline, even the strongest dreams remain untouched. Daily discipline does not depend on excitement or inspiration. It is built on commitment, consistency, and the willingness to do what is necessary even when the process feels tiring or inconvenient. The people who move forward in life are the ones who choose disciplined actions over temporary comfort. They understand that progress is not created in big moments, but in the quiet decisions repeated every single day. Discipline becomes the foundation that keeps you on your path when distractions, emotions, or resistance try to pull you away. Daily discipline begins with a simple decision to take responsibility for your actions. This responsibility is not forced by fear or pressure. It is a deliberate choice to live with intention rather than drifting through life. When you take responsibility, you stop waiting for ideal conditions. You stop giving your power to excuses. You stop letting emotions decide your behavior. You shift from reacting to life to directing your own movement. This shift is the starting point of meaningful growth. It builds a sense of control inside you and reduces the chaos that comes from living without structure. To practice daily discipline, you must create clear expectations for yourself. The mind performs better when it knows exactly what to do. When you leave your day undefined, you invite hesitation, confusion, and indecision. By setting clear commitments each morning, you strengthen your sense of direction. You give yourself targets you can measure and actions you can complete. These commitments do not need to be overwhelming. They simply need to be specific and meaningful. Each commitment becomes a promise you make to yourself, and following through on these promises builds trust in your own ability to stay consistent. Discipline also requires you to confront your tendencies to procrastinate. Procrastination may feel harmless, but it weakens your momentum. It builds a habit of delay that becomes harder to break with time. When you practice daily discipline, you train yourself to begin tasks without waiting for the perfect mood. You accept that discomfort is a natural part of growth and that avoiding it only creates more stress later. Starting a task early or on time strengthens your confidence and helps you build a rhythm that supports your progress. A disciplined person understands the importance of controlling their impulses. Impulses appear in many forms: the urge to check your phone, the urge to rest a little longer, the urge to avoid challenging tasks, or the urge to escape into entertainment. These impulses steal your time quietly. Daily discipline teaches you to pause, breathe, and choose your actions consciously. When you control impulses, instead of letting them control you, you protect your time and strengthen your mental stability. This skill grows slowly, but each moment of self-control brings you closer to the person you want to become. Another key part of daily discipline is maintaining consistent effort. There will be days when you feel productive and days when you feel tired or distracted. Discipline means showing up on both kinds of days. Even a small effort counts because it keeps your momentum alive. When you continue moving forward during low-energy days, you prevent setbacks from turning into long breaks. Consistency rewires your mind to act independently of emotions. It grants you the ability to continue progressing even when life becomes complicated or stressful. Routine plays a powerful role in building discipline. A routine removes uncertainty and reduces the mental effort required to begin your tasks. When you practice the same behaviors at the same time each day, they become automatic. Your mind stops questioning whether or not you should act. It becomes natural to follow through. Strong routines support your goals and create a structure that protects your time. They bring order to your day and make it harder for distractions or excuses to break your rhythm. Daily discipline also means respecting your time. Time is one of your most valuable resources, and discipline teaches you to use it wisely. When you respect your time, you choose tasks that bring value to your life. You stop giving hours to meaningless activities that add nothing to your growth. You learn to say no without guilt and create boundaries that protect your focus. Respecting your time helps you build a life that feels purposeful rather than rushed and cluttered. To practice discipline, you must strengthen your emotional resilience. Emotions are powerful, and they often influence your behavior more than you realize. When you feel frustrated, anxious, or discouraged, your mind searches for ways to escape responsibility. Discipline helps you stay grounded during emotional moments. It reminds you that emotions are temporary, while your goals represent long-term meaning. When you continue your commitments despite emotional discomfort, you develop inner strength. You learn to separate your actions from your temporary moods. Another important part of discipline is planning your energy instead of using it carelessly. Daily discipline teaches you to understand how your energy rises and falls throughout the day. When you become aware of your own patterns, you assign demanding tasks to your strongest hours and leave lighter tasks for other times. This approach reduces stress and increases your productivity. It prevents you from wasting your peak energy on unnecessary activities. Discipline does not require pushing yourself past exhaustion. It requires using your energy wisely so you can maintain progress without burning out. In order to keep moving forward, you must also learn to finish what you start. Many people begin tasks with enthusiasm but abandon them halfway. This pattern creates a sense of incompleteness that weakens your confidence. Discipline, encourages you to close one door before opening another. It teaches you to complete tasks fully, even when the initial excitement fades. When you finish what you start, you build momentum and trust in your ability to follow through. Each completed task becomes evidence of your strength and reinforces your belief in your own reliability. You must also understand that discipline feels different from motivation. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is steady. Motivation encourages you to begin. Discipline ensures you continue. When you accept this difference, you stop looking for emotional excitement to carry you. You begin relying on consistency, structure, and self-control. This mindset frees you from the cycle of waiting for the right mood. Instead, you create progress through clear decisions and daily effort. Daily discipline requires patience. Progress is not always visible right away. Some days you may feel like you accomplished little, even though you stayed consistent. Discipline teaches you to value the process rather than the immediate reward. Each disciplined day becomes part of a larger foundation that supports your future. When you stay committed without demanding instant results, you strengthen your endurance. You develop the ability to stay loyal to your goals even when progress feels slow. To practice discipline effectively, you must take care of your physical health. A tired or neglected body weakens your ability to stay focused or consistent. Discipline becomes easier when you sleep well, eat in a balanced way, drink enough water, and move your body. These simple habits improve your mental clarity and strengthen your emotional balance. They help you stay calm under pressure and support your ability to make strong decisions. Another aspect of discipline is simplifying your life. When you reduce unnecessary obligations, clutter, and emotional noise, you free up mental space for what matters. Simplicity makes discipline easier because it lowers the burden on your mind. A simple life encourages clear decisions and consistent actions. When you eliminate complications, you create room for focus, commitment, and progress. Discipline also requires honesty. You must be honest about your weaknesses, your limitations, and your tendencies to avoid responsibility. Honesty does not weaken you, it strengthens your clarity. When you recognize your patterns, you can take steps to correct them. When you ignore your weaknesses, they grow stronger. Honesty allows you to improve deliberately rather than blindly repeating the same mistakes. Celebrating your progress is an important part of maintaining discipline. When you acknowledge your effort, you reinforce your commitment. You remind yourself that your hard work has value. This strengthens your motivation and helps you continue even on challenging days. Celebrating your progress does not mean rewarding yourself excessively. It means recognizing your growth and appreciating your consistency. Daily discipline builds character. It forms a deeper sense of identity. When you live with discipline, you become someone who honors their word, someone who uses time wisely, someone who acts with intention. This identity fuels your confidence and shapes your future. It becomes easier to make decisions because you operate from a place of strength rather than uncertainty. When you practice discipline every day, you create a steady movement in your life. You no longer stand still or drift backward. You move forward even through obstacles. You develop the resilience to continue even when circumstances are not perfect. You protect your progress and create a path that leads to long-term success. Discipline transforms your life, not through extreme effort, but through consistent action. It becomes the daily force that carries you toward the person you want to become. Chapter 5. Break big goals into simple steps you can complete. Big goals often feel heavy because the mind tries to hold the entire picture at once. When you look at everything you want to achieve as one large task, you naturally feel pressure, confusion, or doubt. The mind becomes overwhelmed when it cannot see a clear path forward. But when you break that same goal into simple steps you can complete, the pressure dissolves and the path becomes practical. Progress becomes possible because you no longer focus on the entire mountain, you focus on the next step you can take today. This approach reduces stress, builds confidence, and allows you to move steadily instead of getting stuck in hesitation. Many people fail to reach their goals not because the goals are impossible, but because they never learn how to break them down. They look at the final result and assume they must accomplish everything at once. When the task seems too large, they postpone it for later, telling themselves they will begin when they feel more ready. But readiness rarely arrives on its own. Growth begins when you divide the big picture into pieces, small enough for your current strength. Every great achievement becomes manageable when you turn it into simple, daily actions that guide your effort. Splitting goals into simple steps allows you to see exactly what needs to be done. It removes confusion and transforms vague ideas into concrete tasks. A goal like improving your health becomes clearer when you divide it into measurable actions, such as preparing a balanced meal, walking a specific distance each day, or getting enough sleep. A goal like learning a new skill becomes easier when you list the specific parts you need to practice. By simplifying each part, you take control of the process. You no longer feel lost because you know what to do first, what to do next, and what to do afterward. When you create simple steps, you must keep them realistic. A step should be small enough that you cannot avoid doing it. When the step is too large, your mind delays it because it feels like a heavy commitment. A simple step should take a manageable amount of time and effort. It should feel achievable, even on days when your motivation is lower. When steps are manageable, consistency becomes easier. Consistency leads to momentum, and momentum builds progress that feels natural rather than forced. Breaking goals into small steps also helps you find joy in the process. When you only focus on the final result, you may overlook the value in the journey. The journey becomes less intimidating when the steps are simple. Each completed step gives you a small victory that strengthens your confidence. These small victories keep you moving, even when the final outcome feels far away. You begin to appreciate the growth that happens each day, not only the final achievement. This mindset brings patience, and patience supports long-term progress. Another benefit of simple steps is clarity. When the steps are written out, your mind can focus instead of guessing. You no longer need to figure out what to do each day. The steps guide you. They act as a map that directs your effort. This reduces decision fatigue, which often drains your motivation. When you already know the next step, you begin faster and finish faster. Each completed step leads naturally into the next. This sense of order brings calmness to your daily efforts. To break big goals into simple steps, start by writing the final goal clearly. Once you identify the final outcome, ask yourself what needs to happen before you can reach it. Break that requirement into parts. Then break those parts into even smaller tasks. Continue breaking the goal down until each task feels simple, direct, and easy to understand. The clearer the steps, the easier it becomes to move forward without stress. You create a path through structure rather than hope. It is important to accept that some steps may need adjustment. As you work through your goal, you learn new things about yourself, your time, and your challenges. Your steps may need to shift or evolve. This adjustment is a natural part of progress, not a failure. Flexibility helps you stay aligned with reality. When you adjust your steps, you stay on track without forcing yourself into a rigid plan that no longer fits your needs. A flexible plan supports consistency. Consistency supports progress. The purpose of breaking goals into simple steps is not to make the process easy, it is to make the process clear. You will still face challenges, discomfort, and moments of doubt, but simple steps give you a way to continue even when your emotions fluctuate. When the step is small enough, you do not need perfect motivation to act. You only need a basic level of commitment to complete the next task. This keeps you moving even on difficult days. Completion of small steps strengthens your discipline. Each step you finish becomes proof that you can keep going. It shows that progress is not beyond you. It is something you create through your actions. This self-belief becomes one of your greatest tools. You stop relying on hope and start relying on effort. You build confidence from experience rather than imagination. This confidence makes your larger goals feel more reachable because you see yourself taking consistent action. Simple steps also reduce fear. Many people fear starting big goals because they imagine the challenges that may appear. They fear failure, discomfort, or uncertainty. But when you divide the goal into small steps, you only face one challenge at a time. You do not overwhelm yourself with everything that could go wrong. You simply focus on what you can do today. This reduces anxiety and helps you act more calmly. Fear shrinks when action increases. Small steps encourage you to act rather than freeze. Breaking goals into steps draws your attention toward progress rather than perfection. Perfection often stops people from beginning. They want every detail to be flawless, every action to feel ideal. But growth does not require perfection. It requires steady movement. When you work through small steps, you no longer pressure yourself to achieve the perfect outcome instantly. You accept that improvement is gradual. This acceptance removes unnecessary tension and supports long-term commitment. You must also celebrate the completion of your steps. You do not need grand celebrations. Simple acknowledgement is enough. Recognizing your progress reinforces your determination. It reminds you that you are capable of moving toward your goals at a steady pace. Celebrating your steps increases your motivation and decreases the feeling of being stuck. It transforms your journey into a meaningful experience rather than a struggle. Breaking big goals into simple steps helps you stay organized. It gives your days purpose and structure. It keeps you focused and reduces wasted effort. It helps you judge whether you are truly moving forward or merely staying busy. Many people confuse activity with progress, but when you have simple steps, your actions become intentional. You know which tasks support your goal and which tasks do not. This awareness strengthens your daily decisions. When you approach your goals this way, something powerful happens. You stop feeling overwhelmed. You stop postponing your dreams. You stop doubting your ability to grow. You start building your future piece by piece. You begin to trust the process because the process is clear. You become more patient with yourself because you see continuous improvement. You feel more in control of your life because your actions move with purpose. This approach teaches you that big achievements are not created through rare moments of extreme effort. They are created through consistent completion of small, simple tasks. You do not need to rush. You need to continue. Every step you take becomes part of the bigger picture. The journey becomes manageable. The path becomes understandable, and your progress becomes steady and grounded. When you break big goals into simple steps, you empower yourself. You no longer see the future as something distant or unreachable. You see it as something you build every day. You take responsibility for each part of the journey, and that responsibility strengthens your character. You create a life where growth is not a dream but a daily practice. Through simple steps, you turn massive goals into practical actions that shape your future with clarity and purpose. Chapter 6. Strengthen your focus by finishing one task with intention. Focus becomes stronger when you train your mind to complete one task with full intention instead of scattering your attention across many unfinished efforts. When you divide your focus, your energy weakens, your judgment slows, and your progress becomes inconsistent. But when you direct your full attention toward a single task, You create a deeper level of engagement that improves your clarity, precision, and confidence. Finishing one task fully gives you a sense of completion that strengthens your momentum and builds trust in your own discipline. The ability to focus is not something you are born with. It is something developed through repeated choices to stay with what's in front of you until it is done. The modern world constantly fights for your attention. Every notification, every message, every quick form of entertainment tries to pull your mind into a different direction. When you respond to all these interruptions, your focus becomes fragmented. You move from one thing to another without entering a state of deep concentration. This prevents you from producing meaningful work and drains your mental strength. Protecting your focus requires training your mind to choose one task and stay committed to it, regardless of how many temptations pull you away. This is a skill that grows every time you decide to finish something before starting something else. Finishing a task with intention begins with clarity. You must know exactly what you want to complete before you begin. When you start your day without clarity, your mind wanders. You pick up different tasks, switch between activities, and create unnecessary stress. But when you choose one specific task, you simplify your direction. You give your attention a single target. This choice reduces indecision and puts you in control of your time. A clear focus point becomes an anchor for your mind and prevents you from drifting into distractions. Once your task is chosen, you must give it your full presence. This means shutting down the noise that pulls you away from your task. It may require turning off notifications, placing your phone in another room, or clearing your workspace. When your environment supports your focus, your mind can settle into the task without constant interruptions. Presence deepens your awareness. It helps you think more clearly and work more effectively. When you stay present with a task, you begin to notice details, patterns, and possibilities that are invisible when your attention is divided. Intention plays a powerful role in strengthening your focus. When you approach a task with intention, you are not just completing it for the sake of finishing. You are putting meaning into the process. You understand why the task matters and how it supports your growth. This deepens your commitment and keeps you engaged. Intention brings purpose to your actions and gives your mind a reason to remain centered. Without intention, tasks feel mechanical and empty. With intention, they feel purposeful and grounded. Another important part of finishing one task at a time is resisting the urge to multitask. Many people believe multitasking makes them more productive, but the opposite is true. Switching between tasks creates mental exhaustion and slows your progress. Each time your attention shifts, your mind must restart the process of concentration. This constant switching weakens your ability to stay present and leads to lower quality work. Finishing one task before starting another helps your mind maintain its rhythm, which increases your efficiency and reduces stress. To strengthen your focus further, break your task into smaller parts when needed. Small segments make a task less overwhelming and easier to complete. When a task feels manageable, your mind does not resist it. This helps you stay engaged and prevents your attention from drifting. Finishing each small part gives you a sense of progress that fuels your motivation. These small moments of completion strengthen your focus because they teach your mind to stay with the task rather than abandon it halfway. Finishing one task with intention trains your mind to respect your own commitments. Every time you complete something you plan to do, you reinforce your belief in your ability to follow through. This builds internal strength and reduces the habit of abandoning tasks when they become difficult. Over time, you become someone who finishes what they start. This identity shift improves your confidence and supports your long-term goals. A focused mind leads to a disciplined life, and a disciplined life leads to steady progress. Deep focus also improves your emotional stability. When you work on one task at a time, your mind becomes calmer. You worry less because you are grounded in a single action. Your stress decreases because you are not trying to handle multiple responsibilities at once. Focus creates mental stillness. It gives you space to breathe, think clearly, and make wise decisions. This sense of control improves your overall well-being and helps you handle challenges with greater clarity. To strengthen your focus, you must also be aware of your internal distractions. Thoughts, worries, and impulses often interrupt your attention. When these distractions appear, acknowledge them without letting them pull you away from your task. Bring your attention back gently. This repeated act builds mental strength. It teaches you to choose your direction rather than be carried by your thoughts. Over time, this internal discipline becomes one of your greatest advantages. You gain the ability to stay centered even when your mind becomes noisy. One of the most powerful benefits of finishing tasks with intention is the sense of accomplishment that follows. Each completed task gives you emotional closure. It creates a cycle of progress that strengthens your motivation. You begin to trust the process because you see visible results. You feel more capable because you keep your commitments. Finishing tasks reminds you that you can create meaningful change in your life through consistent effort. Focus also helps you protect your energy. When you concentrate on one task, you use your energy efficiently. You are not wasting mental power on switching between activities or thinking about unfinished work. This efficiency allows you to complete your tasks faster and with better quality. It also leaves you with more energy for the rest of your day. A focused mind consumes less energy than a scattered one. Protecting your energy is essential for long-term growth, and focus plays a central role in this protection. You must also reflect on how you feel after finishing a task with intention. Notice the sense of calm, clarity, and satisfaction that comes after focused work. This reflection reinforces the value of your effort. It strengthens your desire to repeat the sense of calm behavior. When you recognize the emotional reward of focus, your mind becomes more willing to enter that state again. Reflection is not about judging yourself. It is about observing your improvement and deepening your awareness of what helps you grow. Strengthening your focus requires practice. At first, your mind may wander frequently. You may feel restless or impatient. This is normal. Focus grows through repeated effort. Each time you return to the task, you build mental discipline. Each time you stay with the task, you train your attention to be stronger. Over time, focus becomes a natural state rather than something you struggle to maintain. The process takes patience, but the results transform the quality of your life. Finishing one task with intention also improves your decision-making. When your mind is focused, you think more clearly and choose your actions more wisely. You eliminate unnecessary behaviors because you understand what matters and what does not. This clarity improves your productivity and helps you maintain steady progress. A focused mind creates better strategies, sees opportunities more clearly, and avoids impulsive choices that slow your growth. When you strengthen your focus through intentional completion, you create a lifestyle built on purpose rather than habit. You no longer rush from one thing to another without awareness. You move with clarity and confidence. You understand your priorities and handle them with attention. This clarity supports your long-term dreams and gives you a sense of direction. You create a life where your actions align with your goals. Every task you finish becomes a step toward a future you deliberately shape. Focus is not only a skill, it is a practice of self-respect. When you give your full attention to one task, you honor your time, your energy, and your goals. You show yourself that your growth matters. You choose discipline over distraction and intention over mindless activity. Through this choice, you build a stronger, more grounded version of yourself. A person who can focus deeply can achieve more, think more clearly, and move through life with greater purpose. Strengthening your focus by finishing one task with intention becomes a powerful tool for transformation. It teaches you to slow down, concentrate, and work with meaning. It gives you control over your mind and shapes your future through steady, intentional effort. When you develop this skill, you unlock a level of clarity and discipline that supports every part of your life and keeps you moving forward with confidence and purpose. Chapter 7. Reflect each night to understand your progress clearly. Reflection at the end of each day gives you a clear understanding of how you are growing, where you are improving, and what still needs your attention. Many people move through their days without pausing to evaluate their actions, and because of that, they repeat the same mistakes, carry the same habits, and continue living without noticing the opportunities they missed. Nightly reflection gives you a quiet moment to step back and look at your day with honesty. It helps you see your choices, your patterns, and your effort in a way that is impossible when you are rushing through life. This small practice becomes a powerful tool for self-awareness, guiding you towards steady improvement with clarity rather than guesswork. When you reflect each night, you slow down the constant flow of thoughts that fill your mind during the day. You create space to analyze your behavior without judgment. This clarity shows you the truth about your progress. It reveals what you did well, what you avoided, and what you could have done better. Many people believe they are not improving because they never take the time to acknowledge the progress they made. Reflection corrects that. It shows you that even small actions matter, and it reminds you that growth happens in both the small victories and the difficult moments. Reflection also brings your attention back to your priorities. Throughout the day, it is easy to get pulled off track by distractions, unexpected tasks, or emotional reactions. But when you sit down at night and revisit your intentions, you can see whether your actions matched your goals. This awareness helps you stay aligned with what matters instead of drifting without direction. It gives you the chance to adjust before your small missteps become bigger problems. This nightly check-in becomes like a compass that redirects you toward your intentions. To reflect clearly, you must approach your day with honesty. It is tempting to overlook your mistakes or avoid thinking about moments when you fell short. But progress requires truth. When you acknowledge your weaknesses without blaming yourself, you learn from them instead of repeating them. You begin to understand why you acted a certain way and what you can do differently tomorrow. Honest reflection strengthens emotional maturity, because it helps you face your shortcomings with calmness and clarity instead of shame. Reflection also reinforces your accomplishments. People often forget to recognize their own progress, especially when they hold themselves to high standards. Each night gives you a chance to appreciate the tasks you completed, the discipline you showed, and the responsibilities you handled well. Acknowledging these actions boosts your confidence and encourages you to continue. Progress becomes more noticeable when you take time to observe it. Many people lose motivation because they believe they are not getting anywhere, but nightly reflection disproves that belief by highlighting the growth they might have overlooked. Another important part of nightly reflection is understanding your emotional behavior. Every day brings different emotional experiences, moments of stress, joy, frustration, or calm. When you reflect at night, you can examine how you responded to these emotions. Did you act with patience? Did you react impulsively? Did you avoid important tasks because of fear or discomfort? Observing these patterns helps you develop emotional control. You learn what triggers your reactions and what strengthens your calmness. With this understanding, you can prepare yourself for the next day with better awareness. Reflection helps you identify habits that either support or damage your progress. Sometimes habits become so automatic that you barely notice them. But when you review your day, these hidden patterns become visible. You might notice that you wasted time on unimportant activities, avoided difficult tasks, or allowed distractions to steal your focus. You might also notice habits that support your goals, such as being consistent, staying disciplined, or using your time wisely. By identifying these habits, you gain the power to shape your behavior consciously rather than letting old patterns guide you. Taking time to reflect each night builds discipline. It teaches your mind to pause, analyze, and take responsibility. The act itself becomes a routine that strengthens your commitment to personal growth. When you reflect daily, you avoid drifting through life. You move with purpose. You begin each day with a clearer understanding of what you want and how to achieve it. This routine becomes a mental reset that prepares you for the next day with fresh determination. Nightly reflection also reduces stress. When you carry unresolved thoughts, mistakes, or unfinished tasks into the next day, your mind becomes heavy. Reflection gives you a way to release this weight. By analyzing your day, you bring clarity to the confusion in your mind. You recognize what you can let go of and what needs attention tomorrow. This reduces mental clutter and helps you sleep with a sense of calm. A clear mind at night supports a productive mind in the morning. To reflect effectively, you may choose to write your thoughts down, but writing is not required. What matters is intention. You can reflect by thinking quietly, speaking softly to yourself, or reviewing your day mentally. What matters most is consistency and honesty. The goal is not to punish yourself or create pressure. The goal is to gain understanding so you can grow with awareness rather than blind effort. Reflection helps you understand patterns that repeat throughout your life. You start seeing similarities in your behavior, places where you often hesitate, tasks you often delay, situations that drain your energy, or opportunities you frequently ignore. Recognizing these patterns allows you to break them. You become more intentional about how you act because you understand why you behave the way you do. This awareness becomes a powerful guide in creating real change. Reflecting each night helps you measure your progress. Progress is not always visible through big achievements. Most progress happens through small actions, improved mindset, better choices, and greater self-control. When you reflect, you see these small improvements clearly. You begin to feel proud of your journey instead of focusing only on what you have not yet achieved. This perspective keeps you motivated and prevents you from feeling discouraged. Nightly reflection also helps you prepare for tomorrow. When you understand what slowed you down today, you can plan better for the next day. If distractions affected you, you can set boundaries. If your energy dropped at a certain time, you can adjust your schedule. If a task felt difficult, you can divide it into smaller steps. Reflection gives you the information you need to improve your next day with intelligence instead of guesswork. Each night becomes a chance to refine your approach. This practice encourages humility. It teaches you that growth is a continuous process, not a single achievement. You learn to accept your imperfections while working steadily to improve. Humility opens the door to learning, and learning opens the door to progress. When you reflect without pride or fear, you grow with honesty and strength. Nightly reflection deepens your relationship with yourself. You learn to understand your mind, your desires, and your struggles. You build trust in your ability to improve because you see evidence of it every day. You stop judging yourself harshly and begin supporting yourself like someone who genuinely wants to grow. This relationship becomes the foundation of lasting personal development. Over time, reflection becomes more than a routine. It becomes a moment of peace, a moment of clarity, a moment where you reconnect with your purpose. It helps you end each day with awareness instead of confusion and begin each morning with direction instead of uncertainty. Through reflection, you develop a deep understanding of who you are and who you are becoming. You learn to appreciate your effort and correct your mistakes with patience. This daily practice strengthens your growth journey by giving you clear insight into your actions, your mindset, and your progress. By reflecting each night, you take charge of your development. You stop living blindly and begin living with intention. You understand your progress clearly and shape your days with purpose. Over time, this clarity transforms the way you live, think, and act. It becomes one of the most valuable tools for building a life that moves forward with strength, awareness, and meaning. Chapter 8. Adjust your actions when your plan stops working. Growth requires flexibility because no plan works perfectly forever. Life changes, circumstances shift, and your understanding deepens with time. When your plan stops producing results, the worst thing you can do is continue forcing the same actions out of fear, pride, or stubbornness. Progress depends on your willingness to adjust, not your ability to cling to what once worked. When you adjust your actions wisely, you stay aligned with your goals and avoid wasting time on methods that no longer support your growth. This ability to adapt keeps you moving forward even when life becomes unpredictable. Many people treat their plans as rigid instructions instead of evolving strategies. They believe changing direction means failure, when in reality, it is a sign of maturity. Adjusting your actions does not mean abandoning your goal. It means improving the way you approach it. It means learning from reality rather than insisting on an imagined version of how things should unfold. When you refuse to adjust, you trap yourself in a cycle of repeating the same mistakes. When you adjust early, you prevent unnecessary struggle and open the door to better solutions. To adjust your actions effectively, you must first recognize when your plan stops working. This requires honesty. You cannot ignore the signs or convince yourself that everything will magically improve. You must look at your results clearly. Are you moving forward? Are your actions matching your goals? Are you seeing any progress? Reflection helps you answer these questions. When you notice the same problems repeating, or when your effort produces almost no improvement, it is time to examine your plan with an open mind. You must be willing to accept that something needs to change. Understanding why your plan is failing is the next step. Sometimes the plan fails because it is too complicated. Sometimes it fails because it does not match your strengths. Sometimes it fails because your circumstances changed. And sometimes it fails because your original approach was based on assumptions that did not reflect reality. These insights become easier to see when you step back and analyze your progress calmly. Without understanding the cause, you cannot create an effective adjustment. Once you identify the problem, adjust your plan with clarity instead of emotion. Emotional reactions lead to impulsive changes that create more confusion. Calm adjustment creates improvement. Adjusting your actions might mean dividing a large task into smaller steps, choosing a different method, shifting your schedule, replacing outdated habits, or removing a strategy that no longer supports you. Sometimes the adjustment is small. Sometimes it is significant. The size does not matter. What matters is alignment. Your actions must match your current needs and your long-term direction. Flexibility is an important part of growth because it helps you stay steady even in uncertain situations. When you can adjust your actions, you remain in control of your journey. Life will not always move according to your plans, but your response determines your future. When obstacles appear, rigid plans break, but flexible plans bend and continue forward. This flexibility reduces stress and increases resilience. You no longer fear change because you trust your ability to adapt instead of depending on perfect conditions. Adjusting your actions also strengthens your judgment. Each time you review your plan and refine it, you train your mind to think strategically. You develop the ability to analyze problems without panic. You become more skilled at noticing patterns, separating what works from what does not, and choosing actions with intention. This strengthens your decision-making over time, making you less reactive and more deliberate. You begin to see change as an opportunity to improve, not as a threat to your progress. Many people hesitate to adjust their actions because they fear starting over, but adjustment is not a restart. It is a continuation through a better path. You keep everything you have learned. You keep your progress. You simply improve the direction of your effort. What truly wastes time is staying attached to a plan that cannot take you where you want to go. Adjustment protects your time by redirecting your energy toward actions that produce results. To adjust wisely, you must also stop attaching your identity to your original plan. When your ego becomes tied to your strategy, you resist change because changing the plan feels like admitting weakness. But real strength is shown in the willingness to improve your approach. When you let go of pride, you gain freedom. Your focus shifts from defending your plan to achieving your goal. This shift creates faster progress because you are no longer trapped by your earlier decisions. Adjusting your actions helps you stay motivated. When a plan stops working, motivation drops quickly. You feel stuck. You feel frustrated. You begin doubting yourself. But when you make a new adjustment and see fresh progress, your motivation returns. You feel encouraged because you regain control over your journey. You begin to see possibilities again. This renewed energy pushes you forward with more clarity and enthusiasm. Another important part of adjustment is learning to listen to feedback. Feedback may come from your results, your experiences, or the people who observe your effort. Feedback is a guide. It helps you see blind spots and warns you when you are moving in an unhelpful direction. When you accept feedback without defensiveness, you gain valuable information that helps you refine your plan. Listening to feedback strengthens your growth because it allows you to learn faster than you would through trial and error alone. Adjusting your actions also prevents burnout. When you continue pushing through a failing plan, you exhaust yourself. You spend more energy with fewer results. This imbalance drains your motivation and weakens your confidence. But when you change your approach, you make your effort more efficient. You conserve energy by choosing methods that match your strengths and your situation. This balance helps you sustain your progress long-term without wearing yourself out. Sometimes your plan stops working because your life has changed. Your responsibilities, energy levels, or priorities may be different from when you first created the plan. Adjusting your actions helps you stay connected to your present reality. You cannot expect old strategies to fit new circumstances. Instead of resisting change, you adapt to it. This ability keeps your growth relevant and meaningful. Adjustment also teaches patience. You learn that progress is not a straight line. Some stages require experimentation. Some stages require refinement. Some stages require replacing old methods entirely. When you accept this truth, you stop expecting perfection from yourself. You begin acting with maturity rather than pressure. This patience supports your mental well-being and helps you progress with a steady, calm mindset. You must also understand that adjustment is not weakness, it is intelligence, it is awareness, it is wisdom. Stubbornness slows progress. Adaptability accelerates it. When you adjust your actions, you honor your goals instead of your ego. You choose growth over rigidity. Every adjustment strengthens your ability to move through life with clarity and strength. When you practice adjusting your actions regularly, you develop a deep sense of confidence. You no longer fear challenges because you trust your ability to find a new path. You no longer panic when something goes wrong because you understand that setbacks are part of growth. You stay steady because you know how to respond instead of reacting blindly. This confidence becomes one of your greatest tools. Adjusting your actions when your plan stops working creates a more flexible, resilient, and effective version of you. You learn to listen to your results, trust your judgment, and redesign your approach with clarity. You avoid getting stuck in outdated habits and instead move forward with intelligent action. This practice keeps your journey alive, your mindset sharp, and your progress steady. When you master this ability, you remain unstoppable because no obstacle can break a person who knows how to adapt and keep moving forward. Chapter 9. Protect your energy by avoiding time-wasting habits. Your energy is one of your most valuable resources, and the way you protect it determines the quality of your life and the speed of your progress. When your energy is drained by habits that add no value, you lose the strength you need to pursue your goals, handle responsibilities, and stay disciplined. Many people underestimate how much energy they waste each day through unnecessary behaviors that distract them, exhaust their attention, or weaken their motivation. Protecting your energy begins with recognizing these habits and choosing to replace them with actions that support your growth rather than drain it. Time-wasting habits often start small. They may feel harmless at first, but they slowly consume hours of your day without giving anything meaningful in return. When you allow these habits to continue, they weaken your momentum and reduce your ability to stay consistent. One of the most common time-wasting habits is constant digital distraction. Checking notifications repeatedly, scrolling through feeds without intention, and shifting from one piece of entertainment to another steals your focus and scatters your attention. These habits create a restless mind that struggles to stay present with important tasks. Protecting your energy requires reducing these interruptions and using technology with clear purpose instead of allowing it to control you. Another form of wasted energy comes from overthinking situations that do not need deep analysis. When you replay conversations, worry about events you cannot control, or imagine problems that may never happen, you burn mental energy that could be used for productive action. Overthinking creates mental exhaustion without offering solutions. Protecting your energy involves training your mind to focus on what you can influence and letting go of thoughts that serve no purpose. This shift brings a sense of calm and frees your mental space for clarity and progress. Avoiding unnecessary commitments is also essential for protecting your energy. Many people say yes to requests out of guilt, fear of upsetting others, or a desire to be liked. But taking on responsibilities that do not align with your priorities drains your time and weakens your motivation. When you give your energy to things that do not matter, you have less left for what truly supports your growth. Setting clear boundaries is a powerful way to protect your energy. Boundaries are not selfish, they are necessary. They help you stay focused on your goals while maintaining emotional and mental stability. Another time-wasting habit is working without structure. When your day has no plan, you drift from activity to activity without clear direction. You may feel busy, but you achieve little. This creates frustration and wastes valuable energy. A simple, intentional structure, such as planning your tasks in the morning or scheduling focused work blocks, helps you use your time efficiently. Structure reduces decision fatigue and gives your mind a clear path to follow. When your day is organized, you waste less energy and accomplish more with less stress. Procrastination is another habit that drains your energy. When you delay tasks, your mind carries the weight of unfinished work. This creates internal pressure that builds throughout the day. Even when you avoid the task, it still occupies mental space and drains emotional strength. Completing tasks promptly gives you relief, clarity, and renewed energy. Taking action reduces stress, while delay increases it. Protecting your energy means tackling important tasks instead of carrying unnecessary mental burdens. Comparing yourself to others is one of the most draining habits. When you measure your progress against someone else's achievements, you weaken your confidence and distract your mind from your own growth. Comparison creates unnecessary pressure and wastes emotional energy. Your journey is unique, and your progress depends on your own effort. Protecting your energy requires focusing on your personal path rather than constantly looking at someone else's life. This shift strengthens your self-respect and allows you to move forward with clarity. Another habit that drains energy is engaging in unproductive conversations. Spending time discussing problems instead of solving them, engaging in gossip, or arguing over trivial matters exhausts your emotional strength. These conversations pull you away from meaningful actions and create negativity that lingers long after the interaction ends. Protecting your energy involves choosing your conversations wisely. Surround yourself with people who encourage growth, stay away from discussions that add stress, and direct your attention toward meaningful communication. Poor sleep habits also waste energy. When you sacrifice rest for entertainment or unnecessary activities, your mind and body suffer. Lack of rest affects your focus, decision-making, and emotional stability. Protecting your energy requires prioritizing sleep and creating a nighttime routine that supports your well-being. Rest is not a luxury. It is a foundation for productivity, discipline, and mental strength. A rested mind performs with clarity, while a tired mind struggles with even simple tasks. Overcommitting to distractions during your free time also drains you. While rest is important, constantly engaging in mindless entertainment without intention keeps your brain overstimulated and reduces your ability to recharge. True rest comes from activities that calm your mind, not overload it. Walking, stretching, reading, or sitting in silence can restore your energy more effectively than hours of screen time. Protecting your energy means choosing rest that refreshes you, not rest that drains you further. A cluttered environment can also consume your energy. When your surroundings are disorganized, your mind feels unsettled. You spend extra time searching for things, moving items around, or trying to work in a space that does not support focus. Decluttering your environment helps your mind relax and function more efficiently. When your space is clear, your energy flows toward your goals instead of being wasted on unnecessary tasks. A clean environment supports a clear mind. Saying yes to distractions is another habit that drains energy quickly. Whether it is constant chatting, spontaneous activities, or entertainment that interrupts your focus, these small moments can steal hours from your day without you noticing. Protecting your energy requires learning to pause before reacting. A brief moment of awareness allows you to choose whether the distraction deserves your attention or not. This simple habit strengthens your control and keeps your time aligned with your priorities. Another time-wasting habit is doubting yourself. When you spend too much time questioning your abilities or worrying about mistakes, you lose the energy needed to take action. Self-doubt weakens your confidence and slows your progress. Protecting your energy means replacing doubt with action. You learn by doing, not by worrying. Every time you act, you build certainty. Every time you hesitate, you drain yourself. Confidence grows through experience, and experience requires movement. You must also avoid starting too many tasks at once. When you spread your attention over too many activities, you finish none of them with quality. This divided effort drains your energy and leaves you feeling unsatisfied. Focusing on fewer tasks with intention allows you to use your energy efficiently. Completion gives you momentum. Overcommitment drains it. Protecting your energy requires choosing your tasks wisely and giving them your full attention. Another habit that drains energy is ignoring your limits. When you push yourself too hard without rest, you create burnout. Burnout slows your growth and affects your mental and emotional health. Protecting your energy means paying attention to your body and giving yourself breaks when needed. Resting with intention strengthens you. Pushing yourself endlessly weakens you. Balance creates sustainability, and sustainability supports long-term progress. Mindlessly consuming information can also drain your energy. Constant news, scattered content, and endless stimulation overload your brain. When your mind is filled with too much information, it cannot process what is useful and what is not. Protecting your energy means being selective about what you allow into your mind. Choose information that educates you, guides you, or inspires you. Avoid content that confuses you, stresses you, or distracts you from your goals. Avoiding time-wasting habits strengthens your ability to move through life with clarity and purpose. It helps you stay consistent and focused on the things that move your life forward. When you protect your energy, you become more productive, more disciplined, and more emotionally stable. You reduce stress, eliminate unnecessary pressure, and create space for the things that matter. Protecting your energy is not about avoiding effort. It is about using your effort wisely. It is about choosing what deserves your attention and letting go of what does not. The moments you save by avoiding time-wasting habits become opportunities for growth. You gain more time to learn, to practice, to build meaningful habits, and to care for your well-being. You gain emotional strength because you are no longer drained by unnecessary distractions. You gain mental clarity because your mind is not overloaded with noise. These small improvements compound over time and create a life that moves steadily toward your goals. Protecting your energy by avoiding time-wasting habits is an act of respect toward your future self. It shows that you value your time and refuse to let your potential slip away. This commitment transforms your daily life and your long-term direction. When you remove what drains you, you gain the power to invest your energy in what builds you. And that choice becomes the foundation of lasting progress. Chapter 10. Stay committed to growth, even through difficult moments. Staying committed to growth during difficult moments requires a deep sense of purpose, emotional strength, and a willingness to face discomfort without letting it control your direction. Anyone can stay motivated when life is smooth and everything feels easy, but real progress shows itself when challenges appear. Growth is not measured by how you act on your best days. It is measured by how you respond on the days that test your patience, shake your confidence, or push you beyond what feels comfortable. Difficult moments are not signs that you are failing. They are signs that you are moving into new territory, developing new skills, and strengthening your character in ways that comfort cannot provide. Commitment to growth begins with accepting that progress is not always linear. Some days you will move quickly, and other days you will feel like nothing is changing. This imbalance is part of the process. When you expect constant, smooth progress, every setback feels like a crisis. But when you understand that growth comes with fluctuations, you remain stable when challenges arise. You stop interpreting difficulties as personal flaws and start seeing them as opportunities to become stronger. This mindset prevents discouragement and helps you stay engaged with your journey even when movement feels slow. Staying committed also requires emotional resilience. Hard moments trigger frustration, doubt, or fear, and these emotions can tempt you to give up or step back. But emotional resilience allows you to acknowledge your feelings without letting them decide your actions. You learn to continue showing up even when your emotions are heavy. You learn to separate temporary feelings from long-term goals. When you maintain steady action despite emotional discomfort, you develop the inner strength that defines true commitment. Another important part of staying committed is remembering why you started. In difficult moments, your mind may focus on the struggle, forgetting the purpose behind your effort. When you reconnect with your reasons, your motivation becomes more stable. Your purpose becomes a source of strength rather than a distant idea. This clarity helps you stay focused and reduces the urge to quit. Strong reasons support strong actions. Without a clear purpose, even small challenges feel overwhelming. But with purpose, you face challenges with determination and confidence. Difficult moments also reveal your habits. When life becomes stressful, you may fall back into old patterns, seeking comfort, avoiding discomfort, or escaping responsibility. Being aware of these tendencies helps you correct them before they take control. Awareness allows you to step back, breathe, and choose a better response. When you challenge your old patterns, you rewrite how you handle adversity. This empowerment strengthens your identity and shapes a more disciplined version of yourself. Staying committed requires patience. Many people abandon their goals when results do not appear quickly, but growth rarely matches your timeline. Some improvements are quiet and internal, visible only after weeks or months of consistent effort. Patience helps you stay grounded during these invisible stages. It helps you trust the process even when progress is not immediately measurable. When you stay patient, you avoid the emotional turbulence that comes from expecting instant change. You understand that slow progress still counts, and consistent effort builds powerful long-term results. Difficult moments also test your discipline. When you feel discouraged or overwhelmed, discipline becomes your anchor. It pushes you forward when motivation disappears. Discipline keeps you steady when the path feels uncertain. It prevents you from stopping your progress in response to temporary discomfort. By relying on discipline instead of motivation, you create a foundation strong enough to withstand challenges. Discipline makes commitment possible even on the hardest days. Staying committed also means being flexible with your methods. When something stops working, you must adjust rather than quit. Flexibility does not weaken your commitment, it strengthens it. It means you are willing to improve your approach instead of abandoning your goal. Rigid strategies break when pressure increases, but adaptable strategies evolve. When you adjust your actions during difficult moments, you stay aligned with your long-term vision without being controlled by temporary obstacles. Another essential part of commitment is embracing discomfort. Growth requires stepping into situations that challenge your current abilities. Discomfort is not a sign that you should stop. It is a sign that you are learning. When you accept discomfort as part of the process, you become less afraid of challenges. You begin to see them as pathways to improvement. Instead of resisting pressure, you use it to strengthen your resilience. Over time, discomfort feels less threatening because you understand its purpose. You must also avoid isolating yourself during difficult moments. Seeking support does not make you weak. It helps you stay grounded when stress becomes heavy. Talking to someone you trust, expressing your thoughts, or asking for guidance can relieve mental tension and restore clarity. Isolation amplifies fear and uncertainty, but connection reduces emotional pressure. Support helps you return to your goals with a clearer mind and renewed determination. Commitment to growth also means managing your expectations. Unrealistic expectations create disappointment, while balanced expectations create adaptability. When you expect perfection, you become frustrated with normal challenges. But when you expect obstacles, you respond with strength instead of panic. Managing expectations keeps your mind calm even when the journey becomes difficult. It helps you stay committed because you understand that setbacks are not failures, they are part of the journey. To stay committed, you must practice self-compassion. Being hard on yourself in difficult moments only increases stress and reduces motivation. Treating yourself with understanding allows you to recover faster and continue moving forward. Self-compassion is not an excuse to avoid effort. It is a reminder that you are human and deserving of patience. When you support yourself instead of criticizing yourself, you build emotional strength that helps you continue even after tough days. Another powerful element of staying committed is celebrating progress, especially during difficult moments. Recognizing small wins helps you maintain perspective. It reminds you that progress is happening even if the journey feels challenging. Every small step matters. Every day you stay committed, even with limited energy, strengthens your future. Celebrating these efforts fuels your motivation and prevents burnout. It helps you appreciate the process instead of focusing only on the destination. Staying committed also requires you to protect your environment. Negative influences drain your focus and weaken your drive. Surrounding yourself with people who encourage growth strengthens your commitment. Being in environments that support your goals makes it easier to stay consistent. When your space, relationships, and habits align with your growth, your commitment becomes more natural and less forced. Another key part of commitment is recognizing that difficult moments teach you valuable lessons. Challenges reveal your weaknesses, highlight your strengths, and show you what needs improvement. When you view difficulties as teachers rather than obstacles, you learn faster, adapt better, and rise stronger. This perspective transforms struggle into an essential part of growth rather than something to avoid. Commitment also demands that you stay present. When you focus too much on the future or dwell on the past, you lose the ability to take action today. Staying present helps you respond to challenges calmly. It allows you to make rational decisions instead of emotional ones. When you stay centered in the moment, difficult situations feel less overwhelming. You handle them one step at a time, which makes them easier to overcome. Above all, staying committed through difficulty requires belief in your ability to grow. You must trust that your effort matters, that your progress is real, and that you have the strength to continue. When you believe in your capacity to improve, you remain steady even when the path feels heavy. Confidence in your growth creates resilience. It becomes a source of power that guides your actions during the hardest moments. Choosing to stay committed during difficult times is one of the most transformative decisions you can make. It shapes your character, strengthens your discipline, and builds the mental toughness needed to create a meaningful life. Difficult moments are not barriers. They are invitations to rise, adapt, and continue forward with greater strength. When you stay committed, you prove to yourself that you can handle challenges, learn from them, and emerge stronger than before. This commitment becomes the force that carries you toward a life built on resilience, clarity, and continuous growth.